Hi class, my name is Grace Pierce and I'm an animal science major specializing in animal biology and nutrition, and I'm minoring in zoology. And today I have my boyfriend with me, Zach, and I'm going to be explaining how to interpret the new nutrition facts label to help improve understanding and some of its key concepts and how it's changed a little bit from the old label. Nutrition labels can be sometimes confusing, making it difficult to determine the significance of elements like serving size, added sugars, dietary fibers, vitamins, and minerals. A couple of things that have changed in the new product label, as certain prints are bolder and larger now, and some slight moderations have been changed to accommodate new food losses like phosphorus and calcium. So I have these two protein bars. So I have a Quest chocolate brownie protein bar and a Fit Crunch protein bar. And I've selected these two protein bars because they're commonly used to supplement diets and they can help meet daily protein requirements. So first, what we're going to analyze together is this Quest protein bar. And beginning with the serving size. So, do you know what a serving size is?
The size of a serving.
Okay. So, the serving size is the foundation for all the values listed on the back of the label, and it's what the following components like your protein, your fiber are calculated on. So, a serving size is not just for the calculations on the back of the nutrition facts, but it's also representative of the standard portion size that you're expected to consume in one single sitting. So this amount helps with portion control and ensures that the nutritional values listed, such as calories, fats, sugars, added sugars, are accurately measured per serving. So next we have the calories, which is often something talked about with food products. Do you know what a calorie is?
I'm not sure on that one, my little honey bunches of oats. What is a calorie?
So calories indicate how much energy a food provides per serving. A calorie is a unit of energy, and the total calorie content of a food, such as right here, you can find it here on the back of the nutrition facts, is determined by the amount of each macronutrient it contains. So our macronutrients are going to be protein, carbohydrates, and fats. And specifically, calories are being measured on how much energy is required to raise the temperature of water by 1 degree Celsius. Our bodies use calories from food as fuel, and consuming more calories than we need leads to weight gain, and consuming fewer calories than we need results in weight loss. So let's go through some of the key nutrients on the back of the label now. So as we talked about, fats are an important macronutrient. And we have on this protein label the total fat content, and fats are broken down into 3 major groups: total fat, saturated fat, and trans fat. Do you know what any of these fats are?
I don't know, just that butter.
Okay, so the value on the back of this bar, we have 6 grams of total fat, 1 gram of saturated fat, and 0 grams of trans fat. So fats supply essential fatty acids in our diets and are important for energy, cell function, but excessive saturated and trans fats can contribute to cardiovascular diseases and are overall just not good for our body. But trans fats in particular have been largely eliminated from the nutrition facts labeling. You can only have a certain amount, like I think it's 0.5 grams on the back of the nutrition facts label per serving, and they're overall just not included anymore. Because they have negative impacts again on cardiovascular health, and they stay in our circulatory system. So next we have another macronutrient, carbohydrates. And carbohydrates are used to provide energy and are another macromolecule. So you can see here on this protein bar we have 24 grams of total carbohydrates, and underneath the carbohydrates we have something called fiber, total sugars, and added sugars. So do you know what fiber is, total sugars, any of those things I just listed?
No.
Okay.
Not at all.
So fiber is one of the parts of the nutrients that supports digestion. It comprises the indigestible parts of the product, so it's often found from plants that aid in quickening digestion and support gut health by absorbing moisture. The sugars portion, right here, we said we had 1 gram of total sugars and 0 grams of added sugar. So the sugars portion on the nutrition label indicates total sugars and added sugars, which should be limited for our overall health. One key update on the modern nutrition labels is the added sugars section. So you see underneath the total sugars, there's this subunit added sugars. So diets high in calories from added sugars can make it difficult to meet daily recommended levels of important nutrients while staying in calorie limits. And overall, we just want to limit our total added sugars as it also has negative impacts on our health. And we really want to just focus on having this as low as possible, and in this case it's 0, so it checks out. So do you know why these sugars are listed separately? Okay, so added sugars refer to the sugars that are not naturally occurring in the food, but are added during processing. These can contribute to excessive calorie intake and the increase of the risk of conditions like diabetes and obesity. It's just a really easy nutrition that can be overconsumed. So the FDA now requires that distinction to help consumers make healthier choices. Sugars are not necessarily a bad part of our foods. However, just like many things, they have to be eaten in moderation. So moving on to protein. Protein, right here we have 20 grams of protein. So protein is the last macromolecule we need. It's obviously what this protein bar is marketed on. And it supplies essential amino acids for muscle repair and overall bodily function. Protein is one of the most important parts of our diet and is required for overall muscle stimulation and growth. It can be supplemented in our diets like protein bars. And dietary proteins are not all the same. We just need the amino acids from the proteins. So this has 20 grams of protein, and it doesn't list the amino acids on the back of the nutrition facts, but it is something important to keep in mind. So next we have cholesterol and sodium. So you can see here, it actually has a little flap you look at. It's going to show the ingredients. And then the sodium is going to be 250 milligrams and 5 milligrams of cholesterol. So high levels of cholesterol and sodium can increase the risk of heart disease and high blood pressures. However, cholesterol is essential for producing hormones like and vitamins like vitamin D, bile acids that aid in digestion, and sodium is also necessary for maintaining fluid balance, nerve function, but too much can contribute to hypertension. It's just important that we want to keep everything in moderation. And then lastly, we have minerals and vitamins, which you can see right here. It's at the bottom, and it's going to be in percents instead of grams or milligrams. So vitamins are organic substances and minerals are inorganic substances. So both are naturally in plants and animal products, but they're crucial for bone health, oxygen transport, muscle function. They're often called micronutrients because they're not one of the macros, but they're still really important. They can often be limited in our diets, which is one reason why they put it on the back of this new nutrition facts label, because it tells us how many is in the food so we know how much we're getting. And it's just really helpful so we can have diets rich in vitamins and minerals to promote growth, development, and normal bodily function. So at the bottom of the label, you'll see the daily value footnote, which explains the percentage of your daily nutrient needs for each of these servings provided. So we have total fat, saturated fat, trans fat, cholesterol, sodium, all of our carbs, which includes the fiber, total sugars, added sugars, protein content, and then the footnote that contains all of the vitamins and minerals. So we have on here vitamin D, calcium, iron, and potassium. So why do you think this is important that we have the footnote? Okay, that's okay. So if a food has 20% or more of the daily value of our micronutrients or nutrients, it's high in that nutrient, which can be beneficial for individuals that need more of that specific component, like calcium for bone health or protein for weightlifting. If it contains 5% or less, it's considered low in that nutrient. So since this has 0 grams of added sugars, it's going to be considered low, or 0 grams of trans fat, it's going to be considered low, and same thing with vitamin D, as it has 0%. Alright, so now I'm going to ask you questions on this different protein bar. So this is a Fit Crunch, and I'm going to ask you some questions. Here's the back of the nutrition facts, and you're going to look at this. We have the ingredients down below, and then we have the same type of nutrition facts label, has the bolder print, serving sizes, and all the components listed, and I'm going to ask you some questions.
Okay.
So what is the serving size of the product? It's going to be found up at the top, it's in bolder print.
I got it. 190.
190,
Calories.
that's the calories.
Okay.
The
No,
serving size.
Oh, one bar, 46 grams.
Yeah, so you can have a whole bar for 190 calories.
Yep.
Do you think this is a reasonable serving size?
Yes.
Do you think you could eat that in one sitting?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's the serving size. So now we know how many calories, how much sugar is in this protein bar.
3 grams.
3 grams, is that added sugars or sugars?
Total sugars.
Total sugars. Okay, how many grams of added sugars?
Zero grams of added sugar.
0 grams? Not quite. It's going to be 2 grams of added sugars. So do you think this is a reasonable amount?
Yes.
Yes? Okay.
Very
And
much.
lastly, is this product a good source of fiber and protein?
Yep.
How do you know that?
Because there's 16 grams of protein, so that's quite a bit, and there's not the best source of fiber,
How do
but
you know?
because there's only 1 dietary gram.
So it's also going to tell you the percent here of the estimated daily value that you'd need. So as talked about before, the daily value is how much estimated you need for that nutrient calories. So it has only 4% of your daily estimated fiber content, which is not very good, and 24% of your estimated daily value for your protein content. All right, so this is going to conclude our informative new nutrition label panel. Thank you for being held hostage.
Of course.